YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please...
Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Christina. We invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel, Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides detail about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kHz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. We're going to start today with 417 Magazine. The Great Ozarks Frozen Treats Trail. Keep this guide to the region's frozen goodies on hand so you always know where to stop for a little treat, no matter what adventure you're on, by Katie Pollock Estes. There are a few things better on a hot day than a cold treat. A cold treat enjoyed next to a pool, lake, or river is about the only thing that edges it out. Here in the Ozarks, we're rich with this delightfully ice-cold sweet stuff, from handcrafted and creatively concepted ice cream gems like at Buttermilk in Springfield, to treats with international inspiration like the Taiwanese shaved ice at Sweet and Snow. The options feel a little bit endless. Keep this guide to the region's frozen goodies on hand so you always know where to stop for a little treat. Hannah's Ice Cream Parlor. Get in the SDC spirit and order a dipped waffle cone full of fire-in-the-hole ice cream. The mixture of marshmallow ice cream, graham cracker pieces, and chocolate ribbons really hits the spot. Andy's Frozen Custard. Go with the classic, the Ozark Turtle Sundae. The roasted pecans are some kind of magic alongside that gooey caramel and fudge. Pineapple Bliss. It's all about tropically bright, soft serve floats here. The one has pineapple lime twist and starry soda with strawberry puree and coconut flakes. Buttermilk. Come for the homemade ice cream in creative luxe flavors. Stay for the perfect ice cream sandwiches. This one was gluten-free. Ooh. The Funky Twig. Everything on the brulee banana split is a winner. Torched bananas, caramel sauce, waffle bowl, but honestly, they had us at brulee. The Creamery. The ice cream is handmade with a fresh from the farm vibe, and it comes in fun flavors like this dreamy raspberry mascarpone. Pineapple Whip. Nothing will beat the OG Pineapple Whip flavor, but there's something so special about swirling it with the flavor of the day. Sips and Scoops. At a restaurant that's part coffee shop and part ice cream shop, you just have to order the affogato, espresso over your scoop of choice. Sweet and Snow. The Taiwanese shaved ice is an ice cream is impossibly light and fluffy. Order the mango flavor topped with popping boba and fresh strawberries. The Yard. For a bright sugar bomb of a shake, get the Unicorn. It has cotton candy ice cream, rainbow candy and sprinkles, cotton candy, and more. Snowballs. You can get soft serve ice cream or classic snow cones here, and we always go for a classic. Tiger's Blood ice topped with coconut cream. Finley Farms. Take home a frozen pint of Missouri-made Bold Spoon Creamery's Garden Mint ice cream that's created using mint grown at Finley Farms. Paw Paws Cookies and Cream. A beloved staple, this nostalgic ice cream parlor serves so many flavors you can't limit yourself to just one scoop. Brahms. We don't know what it is about the chocolate vanilla swirl here, but it's the thickest and creamiest we've ever had. A true sweet treat gem. All Aboard Ice Cream. At this ice cream shop located in an old train depot, this is one of the best sellers. An espresso shake topped with a scoop of chocolate ice cream. Rita's. Here you can get Italian ice, frozen custard, or a gelati, a combo of both. Like this one made with mango ice, vanilla custard, and tagine for spice.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Ozarks women gather to sew clothes for children around the world. By Marta Miez, Springfield News-Leader. Every month, groups of women in 3 southwest Missouri cities gather for a work day. Some cut men's shirts, others sew fabric into dresses and shorts, while others oversee and check garments for quality control. Together, these Ozarks women, regardless of sewing ability, have contributed thousands of garments for children in poverty around the world. The Southwest Missouri Group is a local chapter of Dress a Girl Around the World, a campaign under Hope for Women International, nonprofit that focuses on providing girls in poverty with dresses to improve their self-esteem and indicate they are loved and cared for. The campaign brings together Christians regardless of denomination to put together clothes for children in need. The effort to sew dresses for girls and shorts for boys, in Southwest Missouri started in Cassville 8 years ago when Sue Cavness learned about the effort in Texas and decided to bring it back home. Since then, groups in Monette and Springfield have also formed. Cindy Sullen, Springfield Dress a Girl ambassador, said the Springfield group initially started as simply a ministry for the women at her church, New Vision Ministries. But as Sullens and the Springfield chapter co-founder Sharon Coble learned more about the effort and witnessed a work day at the Cassville chapter, they expanded the group to start hosting their own workshop days beginning in May 2024, bringing women from other churches to join. Having a formal chapter in Springfield also made deliveries and collections of garments easier. This year alone, the Southwest Missouri groups combined have already distributed more than 600 dresses and nearly 240 shorts as of March 2026. Last year, the chapter distributed more than 1,480 dresses and 1,130 shorts. Regardless of sewing skills, or lack thereof, anyone can participate, Sullen said, as the group puts together kits to send off to seamstresses, whether here locally or further out like in St. Louis or Illinois. Typically, a workday includes 15 to 20 volunteers. Some people that work with us have never touched a sewing machine and really are not interested in doing it, and that's perfectly fine, she said. There's a job for everybody. The group creates dresses, shorts for boys, and skirts for older girls as they get taller. Each garment includes a pocket and a Dress a Girl tag. Sullen said the group puts small toys inside the pockets to share joy with the children to whom the garments eventually go to, and also sends T-shirts and underwear to ensure children have full outfits. We put those labels on there not for them to know who we are, but for sexual predators or human traffickers to know that this child is loved and taken care of and cared for, Sullivan said. It's been said that when you put a new dress on a child or a new pair of shorts or, garments on them, that people look at them differently, and the label lets people know that these children belong. There's a picture of shorts. It says the table is covered in boys' shorts crafted by Dress a Girl chapter in Southwest Missouri, provided by Dress a Girl Southwest Missouri. And they're all different colors, dark blue and kind of I don't know what you call that, green and black striped shorts and a dark olive color. And the pockets, some of them have surfboards on them. Couldn't think of the word. And it's really cute. And there's one that's got like red dots with a little turtle on the pocket. And the garments, as well as birthing kits that include sanitary items needed for a delivery and baby clothes, are hand-delivered by missionaries around the world and locally in the U.S. From Southwest Missouri, items have gone to San Luis, Arizona, and Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, as well as internationally to Uganda, Dominican Republic, and Kenya. Still, Solon said, there's a great need for missionaries who can deliver all the goods the group puts together. She said there are already more than 400 dresses ready to go, yet no one to take them to the kids in need. Everything the Dress a Girl group does comes from donations. Materials made of 100% cotton and clear of words or cartoon characters are gathered through donations or purchased from donated funds. Suitcases and luggage fees to cover the expense for missionaries are also covered by the collective. While the local women have contributed hundreds of garments to the cause, Sullivan said quality far outweighs the quantity. Each dress or shorts that come in, she said, is inspected to ensure high quality and make sure the clothes last and hold up for the children who receive them. As the garments go out for delivery, the group often receives photos of the children enjoying their new outfits. Just seeing the joy on their faces, Sullivan said, is a fulfilling reward for the work put in. I can't go everywhere, but I can be a part of it, she said, and just being part of it to share the love of God with others is exciting. Volunteers become family. The 3 Southwest Missouri groups meet once a month on different days to create the garments and put together sewing kits. Sullivan said coming together on a monthly basis has fostered a community among the volunteers, which includes several widows. It's really given them some meaning for them as something to do for somebody else after such a loss, and there's several of them, so they have each other that they can talk to, she said. These people are becoming our family. We know each other. We care about each other. There's a picture of Cindy Sullins. She has blonde hair and a multicolored shirt on, and it says Ambassador for Dress a Girl chapter in Springfield. She's looking over sewing patterns at a work day on May 22nd, 2026, provided by Dress a Girl Southwest Missouri. As the group continues to grow and create more clothing for children around the world, Sullivan said the local chapter is working on creating a website. Once it is created, she said hopefully by the end of next month, the group hopes to host a sponsor a dress campaign to raise funds for more garments to be created. For now, the group shares updates on its Facebook page. The Springfield group meets from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every third Thursday at New Vision Ministries at 1440 State Highway AB. Marta Miez covers local government at the News-Leader. Have feedback, tips, or story ideas? Contact her at mmiez@newsleader.com.
417 Magazine, where to watch the FIFA World Cup in Springfield. The soccer community in 417 land is thriving. 2 local pubs are looking to create new fans and support current ones as the World Cup makes its debut in Missouri. Madison Arenas. Pictured is a pub owner. We've got Bailey Turner, who runs Mumbles 1888, where fans can watch the World Cup. There is a chalkboard behind him with all of the brews on tap, and then he is standing with a SBC t-shirt and he's wearing that's a black with the logo. He's wearing a black cap with a lighthouse style or a house logo that's blue embroidered in the middle, and he's wearing a blue and red, purple kind of flannel top over his t-shirt, and he is holding forward a Guinness-style beer. For fans across Springfield, soccer is about community. Ahead of 2026 FIFA World Cup games in Kansas City, 2 Springfield pubs are seeking to bring that community together. An accessible way to watch. Mark and Stephanie Mulheron, owners of Mully's Pub and Patio, 1281 East Republic Road, Springfield, combine sports with a love of food and family. After moving to Springfield, the Mulherons searched for a place to watch the 2014 World Cup, but across the city, none of the venues that they checked had a single game on. They were inspired to open a pub of their own where they knew they could talk about the game with fans, not just press play. The couple opened Mully's in 2025 in a 5,000 square foot building with 3 levels. The Mulherons know soccer. They have 5 sons who played it. Mully's shows just about every sport imaginable, but despite not being a soccer pub, the game hits close to home. Once you're done talking about the game with Mark and Stephanie, you can grab a meal at Mully's full-service restaurant. Head upstairs to the 2nd level with lounge furniture and a slightly more private atmosphere to feel like you're in your living room, or connect with the soccer people they pride themselves on attracting, college players, referees, and families of young children who play. On one side of your pub, you could see a family and multiple kids, Mark says, and on the other side, you could see a group of guys who are wearing soccer jerseys, and they can cohabitate in the same space. If you have a favorite soccer team, bring a team scarf to get a free appetizer. If you visit during the World Cup, you'll find food and drink specials that vary based on the match. Bring your family or come alone. Mully's prides itself on having an inclusive, family-friendly environment. Soccer fan favorite. For new or familiar fans looking for an English-inspired pub vibe, head to Mumble's 1888 at 504 East Commercial Street in Springfield, named for the year the building was first inhabited and the year the English League was founded. Bonus fun fact, Mumble's is a scenic coastal town in Wales. For General Manager Bailey Turner, soccer has been a part of his life since he was a young child in Alabama, and he seeks to grow the soccer scene in Springfield. Catch a game on their 100-inch TV, listen on their surround sound system, and take part in the close-knit vibe of people cheering on various teams in the space. At Mumble's 1888, you don't need to walk in with a team to root for. Turner says many superfans will likely to try to convert you to theirs if they find out you don't have one. I think there are a lot of people who are looking for more people to join them rather than being like, oh, this is our exclusive thing, we don't want people involved in it, Turner says. It's very open and welcoming to all people, which is also really cool and something that I think is unique to soccer fandom. Pictured is the inside of the bar. There's lots of flags on the top, and then you've got some soccer jerseys along a brick wall with some TVs in between them, and then another bar below that has several different teams' scarves. And you have tall pub-style tables with tall chairs at each, and then all of the tall stools at the bar. Building community, Ryan Blamey, local chapter president of American Outlaws, the official supporter group for the U.S. League, and a lifelong soccer fan, has lived in Springfield for 26 years and has seen the opening of both Mully's and Mumble's 1888. Now that the World Cup is coming to Missouri, he's excited to see more fans come to the sport. Whether you're looking for a family-oriented atmosphere or an action-packed vibe, you can find Blamey at Mully's and Mumble's 1888 hosting watch parties or cheering for his favorite teams. Blamey wants people interested in learning about soccer before the World Cup to know that community gathering places like these 2 bars are an accessible way to connect with different types of fans and learn about the game. These places are a perfect place to start because you don't need to know anything about soccer, Blamey says. It's about community and growing that community, and that means there are going to be people who don't know the first thing about it and are maybe watching their first match. No matter your history with the game, these Springfield pubs offer a local ticket to tap into the excitement heading to Missouri.
This is from.
That one's been read.
Oh,
Yeah, that one's been read a couple times.
okay.
Do you want to grab another one? Okay. Immigrant advocate pleads with Greene County to disrupt ICE operations, a Springfield Daily Citizen. Advocates ask the county commission to cease funding for the Greene County Sheriff's Office while it detains people for ICE. This is by Zoe McIntyre and posted 4 hours ago. Paige Berger is pictured. She is speaking to the Greene County Commission during the June meeting about the treatment of ICE detainees inside the county jail. Photo by Ellie Fristak. She is, looks like has kind of brown curly hair that she has pulled back and up, and then she is wearing a blue sleeveless dress with a button on it and patterns attached to it. Madison Martinez said her husband was proud to live in Springfield, where he graduated from Parkview High School, created a business, and started his family. This spring, she said he was restrained at the wrists, waists, and ankles, forced to leave the country despite having no criminal record. There was no structure in place for someone like him, Martinez said. Once we got married, we petitioned for a green card so he could see his family for the first time in almost a decade, and our son could grow up seeing his roots without the risk of losing his father. Back in 2018, my husband had his original immigration court where his lawyer failed to show, and that's when issues started. Our lawyer let us know back in January of this year that he had a removal order, and we were never notified or given warning for that. Madison Martinez is pictured speaking to the Greene County Commission about her husband's experience with ICE agents and later detention in the Greene County Jail. She is wearing a black t-shirt and some blue jeans, and she has long blonde hair. And she is standing at a podium speaking into the microphone. In late 2024, the Greene County Sheriff's Office entered a contract with ICE to house up to 300 people on immigration detainers at a time. ICE detainees now appear to make up roughly a quarter of the jail population, while an increasing number of law enforcement agencies in the Springfield area are entering contracts with ICE with encouragement from local Republican lawmakers. At its Monday, June 1st meeting, Martinez pleaded with the Greene County Commission to sponsor her husband's return. She was joined by other advocates from the Immigration Justice Collaborative, IJC, a ministry of National Avenue Christian Church in Springfield. We are witnessing a breakdown of local law. Pictured is Ross Neba, who speaks at the podium to recount stories of ICE detainees in Greene County and their experiences in Greene County Jail. Photo by Ellie Fristak. He is an African-American male and man, and he is has a longer dreadlock-style hair and a beard. He is wearing a blue T-shirt with a yellow pen in the pocket. Members of the IJC have attempted to pressure the Greene County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Jim Arnett to allow stakeholder visits for people to enter the jail, check on conditions, and visit with ICE detainees. Ross Neba, a certified human rights consultant, alleged that ICE detainees' rights to counsel and due process are being violated. He pointed out that federal judges have ordered bond hearings in several cases where inmates sued Arnett and other government officials after they were held without bond. While I do recognize the necessity for immigration enforcement, we are witnessing a breakdown of local law and of state law in our local facilities, Neba said. Neba and Paige Berger with IJC asked the Greene County Commission to disrupt funding for the Sheriff's Office until it stops housing ICE detainees in the Greene County Jail. Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon replied that the Commission cannot lawfully reduce funding to the Sheriff once it has been approved. Educators speak up for students. Pictured is Autumn Farmer, a librarian at Willard Public Schools, who talks about her experiences with children who are immigrants. Photo by Ellie Fristak. She is a Caucasian woman, and she has brown short hair, and she has a kind of half pulled back and kind of a bun. She has round-rimmed black glasses and is wearing a denim jacket with a red tank top and a button. Two public school teachers told the Greene County Commission that ICE operations in Springfield are creating stress and fear for immigrant students. Heather Hurt of Battlefield said a naturally vibrant student in her classroom now lives in constant pervasive fear after his father was detained by ICE. He is carrying an emotional burden that would break most adults, constantly wondering if the rest of his world will disappear next, she said. When a student experiences this level of acute trauma and instability, the impact ripples outward. Willard Intermediate School South librarian Autumn Farmer shared the story of Cesar, a shy student who read more than 80 chapter books last year, more than any of his peers, she said. His dad was taken into ICE custody while on the way to work, Farmer stated. She asked the commission to consider the human cost of deportation. What saddens me most is that Cesar is exactly the kind of kid we want in our community, Farmer said. He's curious, he's hardworking, respectful, and full of potential. I ask that you remember the faces beyond these decisions. Remember the children in our classrooms who are carrying burdens that no child should ever carry. Dixon, I'm sympathetic. Greene County Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon talks at the monthly Chamber of Commerce's Good Morning Springfield breakfast in this Daily Citizen file photo. He is a white male, and he has a trimmed beard and short hair. He's wearing kind of no-frame glasses that just have the frame at the top, thin wired, and he is wearing a pinstriped style white and blue button-down shirt with the top button open and a blue suit jacket, standing at a podium speaking. Dixon allowed the IJC members to speak during the Commission's public comment section, although he said that he would not let the conversation continue during future public hearings. He encouraged the residents to email the Commission or set up individual conversations with county leaders. It really is a violation of one of the basic principles of due process to allow a group of people to come into a courtroom and to make accusations against a party or parties that they are not notified of in order to be present and defend themselves, Dixon said. IJC members addressed the Commission in an empty courtroom, aside from reporters and county staff, as the Commission had just wrapped up an hours-long public hearing before a vote on a controversial rezoning case for a proposed subdivision. Dixon stated that he was sympathetic to residents whose loved ones have been detained and deported. I can't even get my son-in-law into the country right now, and I also have Mexican-American relatives. So you're not going to find anybody that is more compassionate on the issue, or I should say passionate, he said. However, in response to the advocates' pleas for an intervention on ICE operations, Dixon stated, "It is not an area governed by the Commission, nor was the Commission to a party of it." And then pictured are two gentlemen looking like a podcast with Springfield Daily Citizen behind it, and there's a video discussing something, I'm assuming the topic. Zoe McIntyre covers Springfield surrounding communities like Nixa, Ozark, and Republic. McIntyre is an Evangel University alum and lifelong resident of the Springfield area. Contact her at zmcintyre@sgfcitizen.org.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Is it legal to drive with your pet in your lap? What Missouri law says, by Ahmed Jawadi, USA Today Network. Summer road trips for some Missourians can entail bringing a four-legged companion along for the ride. While many drivers keep their pets in a carrier or harness while on the road, some opt instead to have their pets sit on their laps unrestrained. But is that practice legal? And more importantly, is it safe? Here's what to know about Missouri law on driving with your pet. Is it legal to drive with your pet in your lap? There is no law in Missouri banning you from driving with your pet in your lap. However, doing so could lead to other traffic violations, such as reckless driving or distracted driving, if a police officer determines the animal was a factor in you being pulled over. Never allow your pet to sit on your lap while you are driving your vehicle, the Missouri Driver Guide advises. Properly secure your pet in a pet carrier, portable kennel, or specially designed pet harness when you are driving. Driving with an unrestrained animal can be dangerous. Anything that takes your attention away from driving conditions is potentially fatal for you and your pet, according to AAA. Animals can jump up unexpectedly. Even the quietest, gentlest pet can suddenly leap up to look and or bark out your window, getting in your way and pushing against your arms while you hold the wheel. Unrestrained animals may flee crashes, running into traffic and getting killed, injured, or lost. Deployed airbags can kill pets on your lap. This is the same reason small children are required to be in baby or child seats in the back seat until they reach a certain age or size. Your pet can also become a projectile. In the event of a crash, an unrestrained pet can become an unguided missile, severely injuring passengers. Safe travel tips for your pet. Here are some tips, courtesy of the American Humane Society, to keep you and your furry loved ones safe while on the road. Make sure all ID tags are properly attached to your pet's collar and all information is updated there and on their microchip registration. Properly restrain, contain, or crate your pets inside your vehicle before you start. You can also use specially designed pet seat belts, carriers, or barriers to keep your dog in a safe place. Never allow pets to sit on your lap or remain in the front seat while you drive. Don't let your pets stick their heads out the window. While they may love it, their eyes and face can be seriously injured by grit or other debris. Never leave pets unattended inside your vehicle. Remember that cars heat up fast even with the windows cracked.
Springfield Daily Citizen, planners open public feedback for crash-prone corridor around 60/65. The part of Highway 60 east of the 60/65 interchange has a high rate of crashes. Stakeholders hope a study will produce a solution that maintains access to the businesses and land around Highway 60 by Zoe McIntyre, June 1st, 2026. There is a drone-captured photo of Route 60 near the intersection of Farm Road 189. There's a lot of open land towards the left and a few buildings and a water tower kind of in the top right corner and a row of trees on the right showing a golf course in the bottom right corner. Transportation planners are considering ideas from stakeholders and residents as they study a dangerous stretch of the Highway 60 corridor east of the Highway 65 interchange. A series of listening sessions may lead to a solution that prevents crashes while satisfying the interests of stakeholders in one of Springfield's most attractive future development areas. The Ozarks Transportation Organization and several other entities began a study of the area around the 60/65 interchange this spring, focusing particularly on the east-west corridor between 60/65 and J and N. This corridor is over volume and has extremely high crash rates, according to the OTO. MoDOT is considering building 2 outer roads parallel to Highway 60 and removing all at-grade driveways and intersections between 60/65 and JNN as part of a project anticipated to begin in 2029. Pictured is Matt DeMoss with CMT, Records community members' suggestions for improvements along the Highway 60 corridor. There are 3 gentlemen and a woman who are standing looking at a grid of the city, looking like discussing the issue. Business owners, stakeholders, and residents have pushed back against this plan because of the way it would divert traffic. After receiving pushback, OTO launched a Planning and Environmental Linkages (PEL) study, which may yield changes to MoDOT's original plan, such as an additional access between 60/65 and JNN. The first public listening session for the study took place at Courageous Church on Thursday, May 21st. Just over 200 people attended, according to lead pastor Tyler Padgett. I'm super grateful that they brought all these very important entities together, like MoDOT, the city, county, and city utilities, Padgett said. I felt like the citizens out here were screaming into an abyss. It's good to see the community respond. An online public survey for the PEL study will be available through June 11th. And if you come look at the article at Springfield Daily Citizen, there is a link. Hundreds of near crashes a day. The Missouri Department of Transportation is planning to convert Route 60 between Route 65 and routes JNN to a freeway status. As part of the project, MoDOT is proposing to eliminate all at-grade crossings on the stretch of road, including access points at Highland Springs Boulevard, Farm Road 189, and Farm Road 193. So pictured is the intersection of Route 65 and 60 and an OpenStreetMap picture showing there's a dot at Route 65 and Route 60 interchange and a route at Route 60 and routes JNN interchange with those 3 roads in between that they are going to be affected by this change. Engineers showed traffic footage from cameras installed at the intersections of Highland Springs Drive and Farm Roads 189 and 193 during the meeting. The videos captured dangerous instances of congestion, drivers crossing medians in opposite directions, and near crashes between cars, bicyclists, and heavy-duty vehicles, including semi-trucks. CMT recorded 579 near crashes between the 3 intersections within a 24-hour average. The engineers define a near crash as an incident where there is less than 3 seconds of separation between a motorist and oncoming traffic. Pictured is a narrow gap of oncoming traffic. A truck crosses Highway 60 at Highland Springs Drive. You can see him crossing as a vehicle is oncoming. It's humbling to see this, and it's kind of scary to see how many of these could have been crashes, said Matt DeMoss with CMT. We know these are our family and friends that are driving this corridor, but this is only part of the story. We can only see so much from the data. Between 60/65 and JNN, including the 60/65 interchange, the entire study area saw 670 crashes between 2020 and 2024, according to data presented at the meeting. 4 of those crashes were fatal, and about a third included injuries. Sharon Egu, a member of Courageous Church, stated that poor sight distance makes it challenging for even experienced drivers to turn off of Farm Road 189 and leave the church. As a mom, that's frightful to think that your kid's pulling out at that intersection when it's hard for you to even pull out there, she said. Community members talked to transportation experts and engineers during the meeting, writing their feedback and ideas on sticky notes and aerial maps. Anything and everything is on the table. Pictured are two community members using a map to mark up suggestions for the East Highway Corridor with Jen Thomas, a transportation engineer with the OTO. So you have Jen Thomas pictured. She's wearing a green top with khaki-style pants. She's wearing an Apple Watch. She has dangly gold earrings in a geometric shape with mid-range blonde hair or brown hair. And then she's speaking to a gentleman who is wearing a red polo shirt with a blue sweatshirt-style jacket top and a trucker-style hat that's red in the front and white mesh in the back. Steve Pranch with CMT stated that anything and everything is on the table for discussion as the PEL study moves forward. OTO and MoDOT may consider an overpass, on and off ramps, outer road systems, or even an underpass as possible solutions, he said. The solution could be as little or as big as we want it right now, Pranch said. MoDOT and OTO will explore options for funding new infrastructure when the PEL study is complete, around spring 2027. The study itself was budgeted at $1 million with $800,000 in federal funds. Paget stated that while safety is the first concern always, transportation improvements need to prioritize access along Highway 60. On a webpage titled Do Better MoDOT, the pastor has indicated his support for an entrance exit at Highland Springs Drive or Farm Road 189. Stakeholders along the East Highway 60 corridor want a solution that will maintain access to existing businesses and continue to foster development. Cutting off all at-grade driveways and relying on outer roads accessible at JNN would force drivers to go about 3 additional miles round trip to access the country club at Highland Springs Drive, for instance. City officials and planners believe hundreds of undeveloped acres around the 60-65 interchange could be a key part in Springfield's growth, tying into the Lake Springfield development area. For future investment, it needs to have a plan, Paget said. If you look at the land that Mr. Larry Childress has, it includes what might be among the 5 best locations in all of southwest Missouri, with that frontage on 65 and frontage on 60. Pictured is another drone footage of the area. There's a lot of trees in the undeveloped area with the highway right in between it. And you can see the highway and then a frontage road. Land barren families' acres provide opportunity for Springfield's future. Development talks have reunited around one family's 600-acre package near James River Freeway and Highway 65. Springfield transportation planners allocate $1 million for this study. So there is a related article about what to do with that area. Development talks have reignited around the 600-acre package near James River Freeway and High 65, and this was by Ryan Collins on April 29th, 2025, if you would like to reference it. Also, their Springfield transportation planners allocate $1 million for study of 60-65 interchange by Jack McGee, December 8th, 2025. The overall article is by Zoe McIntyre, covers Springfield surrounding communities like Nixa, Ozark, and Republic.
This is from Today in History. Grover Cleveland gets married in the White House. President Grover Cleveland becomes the first sitting president to marry in the White House on June 2, 1886. Cleveland entered the White House as a bachelor and left a married man and father of 2. His new wife was a young woman 27 years his junior named Frances Folsom. Frances was the daughter of a former law partner and Cleveland's legal ward. Cleveland had literally known her since she was born. When she was 11, Frances' father died, and Cleveland became her legal guardian, remaining close with friends with her mother. His pet name for Frances was Frank. Observers thought Cleveland would marry his friend's widow and were completely surprised when instead he married Frances as soon as she turned 21. In another White House first, Frances and Cleveland's second daughter, Esther, became the first child born to a president in a White House bedroom. He was also the first president to serve a non-consecutive second term. And today in history also, Congress enacts the Indian Citizenship Act in 1924. With Congress's passage of the Indian Citizenship Act, the government of the United States confers citizenship on all Native Americans born within the territorial limits of the country. Before the Civil War, citizenship was often limited to Native Americans of one half or less Indian blood. In the Reconstruction period, progressive Republicans in Congress sought to accelerate the granting of citizenship to friendly tribes, though state support for these measures was often limited. In 1888, most Native American women married to U.S. citizens were conferred with citizenship, and in 1919, Native American veterans of World War I were offered citizenship. In 1924, the Indian Citizenship Act, an all-inclusive act, was passed by Congress. The privileges of citizenship, however, were largely governed by state law, and the right to vote was often denied to Native Americans in the early 20th century. There is also one more thing. In 1953, and on today's date, was the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. On June 2nd, 1953, Queen Elizabeth II is formally crowned monarch of the United Kingdom in a lavish ceremony steeped in traditions that date back a millennium. 1,000 dignitaries and guests attended the coronation at London's Westminster Abbey, and hundreds of millions listened on radio and for the first time watched the proceedings on live television. After the ceremony, millions of rain-drenched spectators cheered the 27-year-old Queen and her husband, the 31-year-old Duke of Edinburgh, as they passed along a 5-mile procession route in a gilded horse-drawn carriage. Elizabeth, born in 1926, was the firstborn daughter of Prince Albert Frederick Arthur George, the second son of King George V. Her grandfather died in 1936, and her uncle was proclaimed King Edward VIII. Later that year, however, Edward abdicated over the controversy surrounding his decision to marry Wallace Warfield Simpson, an American divorcee, and Elizabeth's father was proclaimed King George VI in his place.
Men arrested in Missouri after cross-country burglary spree targeting high-end homes, feds say. This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen, posted 17 hours ago by Harrison Keegan. The men were being held in the Greene County Jail on Monday. Federal prosecutors suspect them of committing crimes in Springfield. There's a close-up of a Homeland Security investigations agent's vest. 2 men accused of traveling around the country to break into expensive homes were arrested last month in Missouri and are being held in the Greene County Jail. Fabian Ignacio Navarro Aligia, 37, and Marcelo Alejandro Talitia Droget, 36, are facing federal charges of interstate transportation of stolen property. A criminal complaint used to charge the men says they drove from Miami to Chicago committing burglaries along the way. Investigators have identified 7 cases that match the descriptions of Navarro and Talikia in Alabama, Mississippi, and Missouri between May 12th and May 21st. The total loss to the victims is estimated at $122,000 in cash and property, according to the complaint. There are unsolved cases that match their modus operandi in Columbus, Mississippi, Jasper County, Missouri, Joplin, Missouri, and Springfield, the complaint says. Court documents say both men admitted to being citizens of Chile who are in the United States illegally. Following a May 16th burglary at an upscale home in Oxford, Mississippi, in which more than $100,000 in jewelry was stolen, authorities used surveillance footage to obtain a license plate number for the suspects. The complaint says investigators used a database of license plate reading cameras to track the suspects' movements and zero in on them on May 21st in Howell County, Missouri. Deputies with the Howell County Sheriff's Office and troopers with the Missouri State Highway Patrol arrested the suspects after a chase and found several stolen items, according to the complaint. Special agents with the Department of Homeland Security in Springfield were brought out to question the men. The complaints say Navarro Aligia detailed the operation the men had been running. Navarro allegedly told investigators he and his partner left Florida with a plan to break into homes across the country. They would target homes with swimming pools or ones that appeared upscale on Google Maps searches. The 2 men would knock on the door to see if anyone was home. If no one answered, they would go to the back and break in with a crowbar. If someone answered the door, they would ask if a made-up person was home to make it seem like they were mistakenly at the wrong home. Navarro allegedly told investigators the men would target 2 or 3 homes in one city and then drive 2 or 3 hours away before committing more burglaries. They would sell stolen jewelry to pawn shops or gold buyers. The men would use fake IDs and pay cash at budget motels that did not require a credit card, according to court documents. Federal prosecutors filed notice Monday, June 1st that the men will be prosecuted in the Northern District of Mississippi. They were still listed on the Greene County Jail roster as of Monday afternoon. By Harrison Keegan, he is the managing editor of the Springfield Daily Citizen. He has been a journalist in Springfield and Northern Arkansas for more than a decade. He has covered everything from high school sports to public safety. When he's not working, the Kansas City native and Missouri State University alumnus enjoys watching sports and spending time with his family.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Reporter Marta Baez named 2026 Outstanding Young Journalist. By Amos Bridges, Springfield News-Leader. Springfield News-Leader reporter Marta Baez is among 4 reporters selected by Missouri Press Association to receive this year's William E. James Outstanding Young Journalist Award. Winners of the award have demonstrated excellence in the field of journalism and maintained the quality, ethics, and standards of the journalist's creed, written by Walter Williams, founding dean of the University of Missouri School of Journalism. Maez and the other honorees will each receive a plaque and a check for $500 at the Press Association's annual convention September 26 in Columbia. The William E. James Outstanding Young Journalist Award is a significant recognition for Missouri newspaper reporters because of where it comes in a journalist's career, said MPA President Brian Chester in a news release. At the Missouri School of Journalism, I see budding professionals figuring out which direction their careers will take, while at the same time, every year, Missouri Press recognizes its Newspaper Hall of Fame inductees as a capstone on a lifetime of industry and contributions. In between, our outstanding young journalists are established at their publications, often tasked with newsroom leadership, community roles, and providing even greater clarity of their coverage through social media and digital channels. They are still learning, but their work is more vital than ever as they help MPA's members meet today's challenges and prepare to face future tests of the industry. Maez, a graduate of the Missouri School of Journalism, joined the News-Leader in June 2023. Her coverage has focused on local government and accountability, providing readers the information they need to ensure elected officials and other community leaders operate transparently and in the public's interest. Her watchdog reporting on government in Springfield, Greene County, and neighboring jurisdictions has been recognized by MPA previously through its annual newspaper competition. In addition to coverage of Springfield City Council, housing and development, her recent work has included coverage of the city's failed convention center proposal, which included early commentary from an industry expert expressing skepticism about revenue projections, and exclusive behind-the-scenes reporting on Branson Police Department's partnership with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. About the William E. James Outstanding Young Journalist Award. MPA's Outstanding Young Journalist Award is named for William E. Bill James, who served as a publisher of the Warrensburg Daily Star Journal from November 2007 until his death in November 2013. He was publisher of the Cass County Democrat-Missourian in Harrisonville from 1985 to 2000 and was president of the Missouri Press Association in 1998. He was inducted into the MPA Newspaper Hall of Fame in 2001. Editors or publishers submit nominations for the awards, and nominees must have been younger than 30 years old on January 1st of the award year. A nomination form is available online at www.mopress.com. The aim of the award is to reinforce the importance of a journalist's role by recognizing and nurturing talent to further promote quality journalism. In addition to Maez, the other 2026 honorees include Miranda Jameson of Richmond, Christopher Parker of Richmond Heights, and Abby Stetina of Imperial.
In the Springfield Business Journal, we've got Reorganized Galloway CID holds kickoff event by Karen Crago. This was posted online May 28th. The Galloway Community Improvement District held a kickoff mixer May 26th, significant because the organization has lain mostly fallow since it was formed in 2019. Wendy Hoosier, the CID's chair since March, said the CID has an available balance of just over $250,000, having made very few expenditures in its lifetime. Those include subscriptions, office expenses, and for a brief period, the salary of a CID manager. At the event, she said the night was about connecting and sharing ideas for the future of Galloway. Melanie Bach, the new CID manager, also addressed the crowd to introduce the board. Hoosier represents Niji Sushi Bar and Grill rather than the business she owns, About Faces Photography, Inc., which is located outside of the district. Other board members are Jamie Thomas of Edgewood REIT, Quarrytown, Jennifer Bear of The Rock Food and Friends, and Denise Alsop of Vine Pairings LLC. Stuart Venable is a non-voting member who represents the Galloway Village Neighborhood Association. The Galloway CID collects a 1% of sales and use tax for any sales within the district. The funds go through the Missouri Department of Revenue and come back to the CID. Bach said the CID has not made any improvements, but it hopes to make some impactful projects in the future, starting with banners to be erected in the district. She asked participants to vote on designs that were available on the table in the back of the room. Banners are what all the business owners that we've talked to want to see happen first, she said. The banner designs feature the name Galloway rather than Galloway Village, and that is an intentional change. Bach said in an interview during the mixer, noting that the name Galloway is most commonly applied when talking about the area. CID revitalized. Hoosier said the board had not had a functioning quorum since May 2020, but in October 2025, Springfield City Council made 5 appointments to the board to correct that problem. The board was reconfigured again with council appointments in March of this year, resulting in its current membership. Hoosier said the CID has been paying substantial monthly bank fees while keeping nearly $200,000 in a non-interest-bearing account, and she said she pointed out that in an April 2025 board meeting prior to joining the board, when the new board members were appointed, the work began on fixing problems, according to Hoosier. From there, the focus became correcting operational issues, restoring compliance, reconciling finances, and establishing proper systems and procedures moving forward, she said via email. Hoosier said that a major part of that involved financial accountability and reconciliation of CID revenues. During our review, we discovered significant CID revenue checks that she had never been deposited, along with other distributions that had to be tracked down and reconciled, she said. Hoosier said that historically the Missouri Department of Revenue had issued checks multiple times because distributions were not being deposited within the time required, and a reconciliation of DOR records against CID bank statements showed distributions were still missing. The DOR subsequently reissued funds that had never been deposited, she said. That process helped recover taxpayer dollars that otherwise would have remained unresolved, she said. Hoosier said the CID now uses direct deposit instead of paper checks, and recurring expenses have been reviewed to eliminate spending that provided little value to the district. The overall goal was to rebuild the CID into a properly functioning public entity with accurate records, transparent finances, compliant filings, and systems that better protect taxpayer dollars moving forward, she said. Chadwick Flyer Trail. During the mixer, Bach introduced Ben Tegler, Executive Director of Ozarks Greenways, Inc., who discussed the future Chadwick Flyer Trail connection through the district. Tegler said this is an exciting time for trails in the region, with $30 million of trails funded for construction, design, and engineering to connect Ozark and Lake Springfield. Meanwhile, he said, trails also connect their users to businesses people want to experience, like Finley Farms, Cassidy Farms, and ultimately businesses located in Galloway. Tonight necessarily isn't about the trail. It's more about that identity, connectivity, access, and experience, and how the district functions long term, and how the Chadwick can be a piece of it, he said. Eventually, the Chadwick Flyer Trail will connect Ozark to Bolivar through Springfield, he said, and Galloway sits directly in the center of the story. It's having nodes and places where people want to be and experience. Come get a beer, come get a coffee, come get a massage. It doesn't matter what it is. But having that mixed-use district where people can live and their front door is the trail is something special that we can offer, he said.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Oil companies profit as Missouri families face record stress. An opinion piece by Matthew Silberman, Springfield News-Leader. Enough is enough. Since January 2025, I've been watching gas prices in Missouri, hoping they would drop and stay below $3 a gallon. For one single day, it hit $2.99. The next day, it jumped 60 cents. That kind of overnight swing isn't normal. It's the signature of a system designed for maximum corporate profit at the expense of working families. As of mid-May 2026, the national average for regular gasoline hovers between $4.35 and $4.52 per gallon, with Missouri prices around $4.14. Diesel is even higher. These costs are forcing impossible choices on households: fill the tank to get to work or buy groceries. Seniors cut back on medical visits. Small businesses watch delivery expenses eat their margins. The constant fear and uncertainty, will prices spike again next week, is exhausting. What makes this infuriating is America's strong energy position. U.S. crude oil production is at record levels of approximately 13.6 million barrels per day. We import very little from the Middle East. Only about 8% of our crude imports come from the Persian Gulf, with the vast majority going to a single state, California. Most of our supply is domestic from Canada or South America. Yet pump prices behave as if we remain hostage to foreign oil. The problem lies in how prices are actually set. Oil trades in future markets, a high-stakes Wall Street casino where over 99% of contracts are pure financial bets that never result in physical delivery of oil. Hedge funds and well-capitalized speculators place massive bets based on headlines, rumors, and geopolitics. This creates volatility far beyond real supply and demand. Oil producers just adjust output to chase profits. Prices rise and they pump more. Prices soften and they cut back. U.S. refiners then capture huge margins. Crack spreads, the difference between crude costs and gasoline/diesel selling prices, have widened sharply. Companies like Valero Energy and Marathon Petroleum posted strong quarterly 2026 profits. Thanks to these elevated refining margins, Valero reported $1.3 billion in net income. Record earnings for them, record pain in the gas tank for everyone else. Missouri drivers feel this squeeze acutely. Our state motor fuel tax of 29.5 cents per gallon ranks among the higher ones nationally, layered on top of the federal tax. This also fails to take into account county or even city taxes imposed on fuel. Promised federal relief offers little help here. President Trump promised transparency on energy prices and government operations, but that transparency has been slow walking to arrive on the real forces driving these costs: profit. This isn't temporary bad luck. It's a financialized system that layers speculation, export incentives, and corporate profit-taking on top of America's domestic energy abundance. Big oil refiners and Wall Street win. Working families lose. The human toll is undeniable. Rural Missourians drive long distances with no transit options. Farmers pass higher fuel and transport costs onto food prices. The anxiety of never knowing what the next fill-up will cost wears people down emotionally and financially. It's time for real accountability. We need greater transparency in futures trading, limits on excessive speculation, and policies that put American drivers first, including scrutiny of windfall profits during price spikes and support for strategic domestic refining capacity. Contact your Missouri state legislators, Attorney General, U.S. Senators, and Representatives today. Demand investigations into futures market manipulation and excessive refiner margins. Share your gas receipts and stories on social media. Attend town halls. Make your voice loud and impossible to ignore. The oil companies get record profits. Missouri families get record stress. We deserve better than being told, in effect, to get bent by a system that protects the casino while ordinary Americans pay the price. The House doesn't have to keep winning. It's time we demand fairness at the pump. Matthew Silverman lives in Huntsville, Missouri. Springfield schools seek $300,000 to fund teacher-led ideas, by Janice Reacher, Springfield News-Leader. The Foundation for Springfield Public Schools is seeking community support to fund more teacher-led projects in the classrooms. The Foundation for Springfield Public Schools has launched the Grant SPS campaign to raise $300,000 by August 31st, according to a community announcement. The money will be used to support educators through grants distributed in September. Last year, the foundation awarded $300,000 in grants, but educators requested more than $650,000, leaving many projects unfunded. Grant SPS campaign to support Springfield teachers. The foundation funds classroom enhancements that exceed standard budgets through three types of grants: back-to-school grants for teacher-led projects, impact grants for principal-led programs, and district grants for large-scale projects. Springfield Public Schools' dedicated teachers champion out students every single day. Natalie Murdoch, the foundation's executive director, said the announcement. By investing in our schools and providing timely resources, we empower our teachers to continue their innovative work. If a teacher can dream it, we can fund it with your help. The impact of these grants can be immediate and transformative. At Wanda Gray Elementary, a recent back-to-school grant funded the Make Each Day Count attendance incentive, which resulted in a record-breaking 95.01% attendance rate, the highest in school history, according to the announcement. More than 53% of Springfield students qualify for free or reduced price meals, according to the announcement, making economic hardship a barrier to learning. The Grant SPS campaign aims to ensure that all students have the tools they need to succeed, whether for literacy, STEM, or agriculture education. How can community members help? Community members and corporate sponsors are invited to contribute to the campaign. Those interested in supporting the effort can visit supportsbs.org/GrantSPS. This story was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the information gathering, review, editing, and publishing process. Learn more at https://cm.usatoday.com/ethical-conduct/.
This was an old article. Never mind. We're at the Springfield Business Journal. There are several people outside celebrating. There's black confetti going up in the air, celebrating with a warehouse behind them with a sign that says Keep Supply. Keep Supply, Dubai's new fulfillment center in Republic. Facilities should boost 2026 company revenue beyond $100 million by Mike Cullinan. A Springfield-based industrial parts and equipment distributor, Keep Supply, has expanded its footprint into the Republic area with the opening of a 25,000 square foot fulfillment center. The company held a May 26th open house and ribbon-cutting ceremony with the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce to celebrate the 3570 East Sawyer Road facility, which officials said opened in February. Keep Supply distributes industrial refrigeration parts and equipment for food, beverage, chemical, and pharmaceutical manufacturers internationally. We are super excited to move into this facility, said Cody Cantwell, Keep Supply's Director of Portfolio and Supply Chain, who oversees product and warehouse logistics for the company. The big thing is we went from a space that was 7,800 square feet, and this gives us obviously a lot of room to grow and expand our product offerings to our customers. Since 2017, the company's prior fulfillment center was at 3107 East Chestnut Expressway. Plans initially were to keep it, Cantwell said. However, it ultimately didn't make sense for the company's ongoing growth plans. What we were really looking for was a place to grow, he said, declining to disclose relocation costs or the company's 5-year lease rate with DAD Commercial LLC. We looked at both the opportunity of either acquiring a facility or doing the rental. For us, an ultimate goal would be to be under one roof one day, if that possibility arises. Drake Hughes, Keep Supply president, said in a news release that the new fulfillment center isn't just a bigger warehouse, but infrastructure for the next decade. The fact that we're building it right here in the same place we call home gives us a great deal of pride, he said in the release. Springfield and the surrounding area have become an important region for the refrigeration industry, and we're excited to continue growing alongside it. Building capacity. The new fulfillment center has more than 650,000 cubic feet of storage capacity with products such as condensers, motors, pumps, and valves lining shelves. However, Cantwell says there's plenty of room for growth in the facility as the company expects to boost inventory levels and streamline fulfillment operations. Although delivery trucks are available on site, officials say the center is not currently using rail access for shipping. We're somewhere around 25 to 30% capacity right now, he said, adding the fulfillment center currently has over 2,300 products from 100-plus vendors. That product offering will probably expand to over 3,000 to 4,000 by the end of the year. While Keep Supply has interest in adding other distribution facilities beyond the Springfield area, no expansion plans on that front are in motion, Cantwell said. Keeping its headquarters in the Queen City remains a long-term plan, he added. From this location, we're able to serve around 75% of our customers within a 2-day transit, he said. That really helps us overall in cost savings for the customer and also transit time. On the rise. Expanded warehouse space is just one of several growth areas for Keep Supply. Revenue grew in 2025 to $72 million, Cantwell said, a roughly 42% year-over-year increase. The large jump came in under early estimates for the year, as Hughes told SBJ in late 2024 that the plan for 2025 was to reach $84 million in revenue. Cantwell said the company's revenue goal is even loftier this year. Our goal for 2026 is $110 million, he said, noting increased businesses at the fulfillment center will be a key to reaching that mark. We've averaged around 35% to 38% of our revenue coming from our warehouse over the last year, Cantwell said. Our goal is to be over 45 to 50% of that in the warehouse this year. Aside from revenue, Keep Supply's employee count has also rapidly increased. At the end of 2023, the company had 67 employees. Today, that number is 140, Cantwell said, adding 8 employees work at the fulfillment center, a total he expects will grow into the 20s over the next few years. He estimated the company will probably hire another 15 employees by year's end. The expansion to the new facility comes after the company was acquired earlier this year for undisclosed terms by Charlotte, North Carolina-based private equity firm Cambric LLC. Around the time of the acquisition announcement in February, Josh Birch, CEO of Keep Supply, told Springfield Business Journal that the 3 original partners are still equity holders in the company, though Cambric is now the majority equity holder. They very much believe in where Keep's headed, and we're excited to bring somebody on to help us secure the future we want, the future of our team, and the fact that we can also be part of that journey, he said in a February interview. From our perspective, it's the best of both worlds. Keep Supply began in 2008 as Industrial Refrigeration Parts LLC and was rebranded to its current name in 2022, according to the company's LinkedIn profile. Cambric's acquisition announcement stated the ownership team of Birch, Hughes, and Chris Langston acquired Industrial Refrigeration and Parts in 2017. Keep Supply serves customers across the United States and ships to roughly 70 countries, according to officials. According to Keep Supply's website, the company's customers comprised myriad industries, such as industrial and commercial refrigeration, meat processors, cold storage facilities, chemicals and pharmaceuticals, and farms. Clients include Associated Wholesale Grocers, Inc., Butterball, LLC, Highland Dairy Foods Company, LLC, Ready Ice, LLC, and Tyson Foods, Inc. Downtown movement. The new fulfillment center's opening arrives as the company moved most of its workforce last summer to 117 Park Central Square from its prior 601 North National Avenue location. In a February 2025 interview with SBJ, Keep Supply CEO Josh Birch said most of the company's teams would occupy 34,000 square feet in leased and remodeled space on portions of the second and third floors of the 110,000 square foot downtown building owned by Davis Properties. Cantwell said the Keep Supply staff is currently occupying the first floor, as it awaits renovations from general contractor BP Builders LLC to conclude. He expects the move to the second and third floors to take place in later June. Officials declined to disclose estimated relocation and renovation costs or its 5-year lease with Davis Properties. It's been a long process, but it's been good, Cantwell said, adding heating, ventilation, and air conditioning work has been a substantial part of the ongoing renovations.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. It says Vietnamese restaurant Hong Yen reopens in South Springfield by Susan Zuch, Springfield News-Leader. This week in 417 Food News, a Springfield favorite reopens in a new spot and a local cafe that caters to food intolerances and sensitivities announces a dinner service. Plus, there's a new place to find Mediterranean and Middle Eastern groceries. Vietnamese restaurant opens doors on Battlefield Road. After months of anticipation, area favorite Hong Yen has reopened a stone's throw from its previous location. The Vietnamese restaurant is now at 301 East Battlefield Road, next to the Grotto West Coast Grill in Battlefield Plaza Shopping Center. Hong Yen is open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 11 to 6 p.m. Sundays, and closed on Wednesdays. Its menu includes pho, a Vietnamese rice noodle soup, baguette sandwiches called banh mi, and other Vietnamese entrees. For more information, guests can call the restaurant at 417-351-3915. Hong Inn opened in 2015 on the corner of Battlefield Road and Campbell Avenue, according to previous News-Leader reporting. Katie Tonarelli highlighted the restaurant's lighter flavors and seafood selection in a 2017 feature praising the freshly made food. Area Cafe, catering to food sensitivities and tolerances, now offers dinner service. The Safe Spoon, 1450 East Sunshine Street, is expanding its offerings beyond breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Guests who want to enjoy a dinner free from the most common allergens can stop by until 8 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. According to a Facebook post, the cafe's dinner service will mirror the existing lunch menu, with a special or two making an appearance along the way. According to the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, about 6% of Americans have a food allergy. 8 foods: eggs, milk, and dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, wheat, soy, and sesame account for about 90% of all food allergy reactions. Owner Katrina Hagen began baking gluten-free treats in 2022, according to reporting from 417 magazine, and opened the bakery Sensitively Sweet in November 2024. Mediterranean Grocery Store offers fresh food, pantry staples. Whether you're looking for halal meat, drink syrup concentrates, or specialty spices, Olive Leaf Market at 1526 South Glenstone Avenue can lend you a hand. The new market offers Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Desi grocery essentials, as well as hard-to-find favorites, according to its Facebook page. In addition to pantry staples like tahini and specialty teas, the market also offers freshly marinated chicken shawarma and chicken tikka that customers can cook at home. Olive Leaf Market is open daily, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. For more information, visit its Facebook page at www.facebook.com/profile.php?ID =615696055176680, or its website at oliveleafmarket.weebly.com.
Springfield Business Journal, officials cut the ribbon on May 14th at the completed Chadwick Flyer pedestrian bridge over Highway 65. There are about 4 women and 4 gentlemen, all standing behind a ribbon. One has a microphone with a portable speaker, and there is the bridge behind them. Ozarks celebrates completion of $5.4 million Chadwick Flyer Trail Bridge. Officials say project that spans over Highway 65 wrapped on time. By Mike Cullinan. I'm having a hard time saying his name today. A few weeks after the Chadwick Flyer Bridge in Ozark first opened to foot and bicycle traffic, over 100 people were on site at the newly constructed multi-million-dollar structure on May 14th to celebrate its completion. City of Ozark officials say work on the pedestrian bridge that crosses over Highway 65 finished on time and with a price tag of roughly $5.4 million. A spring 2026 completion for the steel span bridge was targeted when a July 2025 groundbreaking ceremony was held, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. The city first opened the bridge on April 1st as finishing touches such as angled panels and permanent railing were tackled in subsequent weeks. The bridge, which is near the 39-mile marker of Highway 65, is part of the Chadwick Flyer Trail, a roughly 12-mile regional trail designed for cyclists, joggers, and walkers. Ozark Public Works Director Jeremy Parsons said bringing the bridge to fruition was a tremendous challenge as officials, including from the city, Ozark Transportation Organization, and Ozark Greenways, Inc. collaborated on the project. Parsons was among several officials who spoke at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, which was followed by a short walk across the bridge for the dozens of people in attendance. Parsons said the bridge provides a chance to say welcome to Ozark, where we value quality of life, outdoor living, connection to our beautiful landscape, to our rivers, to our culture, to our history, and to our neighbors. Rodmacher Brothers Excavating Company, Inc. was general contractor for the project, while engineering was work by Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, Inc. What's so cool about the alignment that you see behind you, this is the precise alignment of the old Chadwick Flyer, Parsons said. The skew in that bridge is there for a reason. It's to pay homage to our history. The trail spans roughly 12 miles of the original Chadwick Flyer rail line that covered almost 17 miles from National Avenue near downtown Springfield to Ozarks Finley River Trail. In development since 2019, the project is a collaborative effort between the City of Ozark, OTO, and Ozark Greenways. A cost study completed in 2024 for part of the Greenway Trail project pushed the total price tag estimate to over $30 million. The project, which Parsons said included building an additional roughly 4,000 linear feet near the overpass, totals nearly 7,000 linear feet and ties into a portion of the trail on property owner by Tracker Marine near North 21st Street, matching the vision. The bridge absolutely matches the vision, Parsons said, noting the project served as one of the most daunting components of the trail as officials had to study the feasibility and financial aspects of either going over or under the highway. He said that section of Highway 65 averages around 65,000 vehicles a day, citing Missouri Department of Transportation data. This was the biggest challenge on the map when we first started laying this out. He said, it's like, how do you get across over 20 million cars a year? This was glaring at us when we were in the planning phases, and I think we did an amazing job of saying, let's not only accept the challenge, let's turn it into an opportunity. Ozark Mayor Don Curran said the ribbon-cutting ceremony is a celebration of projects years in the making. It's so exciting to have increased new opportunities for recreation, wellness, just connectivity between our city and other cities in this area, and we are proud to celebrate this milestone, he said. OTO Executive Director Sarah Fields says she could count at least half a dozen funding partners in the audience that have contributed towards the Chadwick Flyer Trail project. Our original vision was connecting communities through trails, and we didn't know how we would reach that vision, she said. It took some partners to get there, partners that saw the vision for a transportation connection, for a recreation connection, and for a tourism connection. Nearly $1.2 million for the bridge project was provided to the City of Ozark from Federal American Rescue Plan Act's funds via the Missouri Department of Economic Development as part of the state's local tourism assessment development program, according to SBJ reporting. Additionally, it received funding from OTO, the City of Ozark, Christian County, and Ozark Greenways, which supplied money it received from the Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's Outdoor Fund. While MoDOT didn't have a financial contribution, Fields said they did dedicate staff during a portion of the project in November 2025. They were out here overnight supervising the setting of the bridge, she said. They figured out how to put the parts and pieces together without negatively impacting the traveling public. It was a big deal, and they have hugely dedicated staff that helped us. Megan Stack, Foundation and Philanthropy Advisor at Bass Pro Shops, was among those in attendance at the ceremony. Stack, daughter of Bass Pro founder Johnny Morris, said she's blown away by the dedication and hard work of so many people on the bridge project and the speed at which it became a reality. Crossing 65 was this huge, unimaginable hurdle, and today we get to celebrate the completion of this project, and I'm just so proud of everybody that made this happen, she said. It's awesome. Everybody at Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Marine and all of their outfitters are thrilled to be a part of this project, making an impact. The bridge and the trail will help provide a notable economic impact for the local area, said Christine Hasseltine, President and CEO of Show Me Christian County. Based on data compiled by OTO using Galloway Trail usage, she said 205,000 people are estimated to annually use the Chadwick Flyer Trail. Additionally, utilizing Katy Trail data, another rail trail conversion in the state, she said Auto estimates sales tax generation from the trail will be $220,000 annually for the City of Ozark and Christian County. We believe that the Chadwick Flyer is a signal to the business community that amazing things are happening in Christian County, and it will drive new businesses to our area, she said. It demonstrates what happens when a community comes together and they collaborate on the vision. Parsons said 2 more trail connections are continuing to the north and south of the bridge. Both should be complete within the next couple of months, he said. One connection near Finley Farms, which will take users under Jackson Street, is about 600 linear feet and will cost about $340,000. Another section, roughly 2,000 linear feet, has a price tag of $900,000 and connects to the Garrison Springs Community Forest. As for when the entire 12-mile trail is complete, Parsons doesn't believe it will be nearly as long of a wait as he originally estimated. I'm hoping within the next 5 years, he said. That's aggressive, but when I first looked at this bridge and the possibility here in my mind, I thought it was going to be maybe 20 or maybe 30 years, and the community came together.
This is from Springfield News-Leader. It's an opinion piece. It says this piece expresses the views of its authors, separate from those of this publication. Trump Republicans denounce violence from their glass houses. Robert Haslag, Springfield News-Leader. The recurring Republican message is that we, Democrats, must stop hyping violence. I'm not excluding Democrats from avoiding it, but it is equally mandatory Republicans desist from advocating violence themselves. Further, they must understand that criticism is not promoting violence. Criticism is our absolute right. I reject all assassination attempts against Donald Trump as unacceptable, period. Republican propensity to ascribe this violence only to Democrats is purely inflammatory. I renounce blaming Democrats alone as universally guilty. Aside from Donald's incessant slurs and demeaning of the press / opponents in his press gaggles on the White House lawn, he described New York Attorney General Letitia James as an animal, rabid, and as Peekaboo James, a slur historically used against black people. The beating of a Black Lives Matter activist in Birmingham, Alabama, inspired Donald's remark on Fox. Maybe he should have been roughed up. At a Pennsylvania rally days before the election, he told the crowd any attempted assassin would first have to shoot through the press pool, his human shield. All laughed. His declaration that there were good people on both sides after Charlottesville decidedly displayed sympathy for anti-Semite, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists. In October 2018, Donald lauded Congressman Greg Gianforte, who had pleaded guilty to assault after body slamming a reporter to the floor, said Gianforte was his kind of guy. In 2017, Donald posted a doctored video of himself beating a man whose face featured a CNN logo. At a 2015 Michigan rally, he mused that Putin simply murdered reporters that troubled him, and after declaring he would never do that, Donald paused, apparently appreciating Putin's solution. The murder of 5 staffers for the Capital Gazette newspaper in 2018 was met with his enemy of the people remark. In November 2025, Donald insisted that Democrats who had recited our military's code of conduct were seditious, punishable by death, were the enemy from within, and threats to democracy. He suggested a former congresswoman should have a gun trained on her face. He and Republicans blamed Democrats for the recent assassination attempt merely because the assailant opposed Donald, lumping all Democrats together. By the same logic, all Republicans were guilty of the murders of Minnesota Representative and Speaker Melissa Hortman and husband Mark. That this frenzy has permeated the Republican Party exemplified itself recently in a fundraising letter I received from Congressman Burleson's office. I had communicated respectfully with a staffer in his Springfield office before I inadvertently received the letter, though they surely knew I am a Democrat. Here is some of the language used in that letter. Democrats have, quote, have become the party of transgenderism, illegal aliens, and now socialists sympathize with Hamas while attempting to rationalize and excuse the violent assassination of Charlie Kirk. Leftists have pandered to radical progressives and alienated middle America, and it's time they abandoned crazy. The congressman knows many of his letter's claims are unadulterated deception. Feeding innocent Gazans, homeless and bombed, does not make Democrats sympathetic to Hamas. No Democratic official supported Kirk's assassination as passionately as Donald celebrated Mr. Mueller's death for managing the Russia investigation, an unequaled demonstration of rejoicing in violence in contrast to any Democratic official statement after Kirk's death. As for socialists, Burleson did not inform the letter's recipients that Medicare and Social Security are socialist. Elderly constituents would undoubtedly not approve of slowly defunding both after lives of paying into the funds. As for transgenderism, Burleson sadly cannot comprehend that these Americans are human beings worthy of the same respect as others. Losing appreciation for simple humanity is how genocide thrives. If persons are not human, they are unworthy of human respect. He characterized Democrats as the party of illegal aliens, a blatant distortion of America's noble tradition of asylum, perverting these words: "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me." Donald and Congressman Burleson must walk the walk and denounce violence against their critics. Congressmen, cease the mistruths. Schedule a town hall and defend your policies. Regrettably, your fear of our logic prevents you. Robert Haslag lives in Nixa.
Parents of man fatally shot in January file wrongful death suit against suspected shooter. This is from the Springfield Business Journal. No, sorry, Springfield Daily Citizen by Jackie Rewalds 4 hours ago. Pictured is Springfield police investigating a homicide on Thursday, January 15th, near the intersection of Elm Street and Kimbrough Avenue. The family of a Springfield man who was fatally shot in January has filed a wrongful death suit against the person police believe pulled the trigger. According to the initial information provided by the Springfield Police Department, officers responded to a report of shots fired near the intersection of Kimbrough Avenue and Elm Street at 11:45 p.m. January 15th. Officers found Brandon Watt, 22, near the intersection who had been shot. Watt was transported to the hospital where he died. Dawson Smith, 20, of Springfield, was arrested at the scene but later released. Police say the case is under investigation and will eventually be presented to the Greene County Prosecutor's Office for them to determine if criminal charges should be filed against Smith. As of Monday, June 1st, no charges had been filed against Smith related to the shooting. Chris Swatters, public information officer for the police department, said the shooting is still an active investigation. The wrongful death suit was filed May 29th in Greene County Circuit Court by Watt's mother, Teresa Cox, and father Jade Watt on behalf of Watt's minor son. Suit alleges Watt opened car door and Smith started the shooting. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. According to the petition, Brandon Watt was operating his vehicle behind a vehicle that was traveling north on Kimbrough Avenue, approaching Elm Street. The vehicle in front was occupied by Watt's fiancée and Smith, who were seated in the back seats. When the vehicle occupied by Watt's fiancée and Smith came to a stop at the red light, the petition says Watt got out of his vehicle and approached the rear passenger door. According to the petition, Watt opened the door and Smith fired a handgun multiple times in Watt's direction. At least 4 bullets struck Watt. The petition does not include any information about what transpired between the parties in the two vehicles before the shooting, but the petition states Smith was intoxicated and under the influence of one or more substances, including marijuana. The petition alleges in part that Smith was negligent in allowing himself to become intoxicated while bearing a firearm, and that he was incapable of reasonably discerning the presence or absence of physical danger to himself or another. Smith does not yet have an attorney listed as representing him in the civil case. This is by Jackie Rewald. She is a reporter at the Springfield Daily Citizen. She covers public safety, the courts, homelessness, domestic violence, and other social issues. Her office line is 417-837-3659.
We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Federal law enforcement apparently raided Springfield Wicked Superstore on Kearney. Local law enforcement officers were present as well, by Steve Pokin. And there's a picture of ATF agents standing in front of a storefront with a Greene County Sheriff's truck in the corner of the photo. It says agents with Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives outside of Wicked Superstore on Kearney Street in Springfield today. Law enforcement officers from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were seen at the Wicked Superstore, 425 East Kearney, this morning in an apparent raid of the business. In addition, deputies from the Greene County Sheriff's Office were present. Springfield Police assisted the Sheriff's Office, said Chris Swatters, spokeswoman for Springfield Police. Officers took items from the store. Jonah Beadle, spokesman for the Greene County Sheriff's Office, said via email. The operation was conducted by the ATF. Some of our task force officers, TFOs, did assist with the operation, but under federal authority and supervision. At this time, I do not have more to provide beyond that. And there's a picture of law enforcement officers removing, it looks like cardboard. Don't know. Oh, it is. Law enforcement officers carry empty boxes out of Wicked Superstore on Kearney Street in Springfield on June 2nd, today. The store advertises itself as Springfield's only 24-hour superstore and home of the $4.20 flavor of the day. The area's largest selection of nicotine and THCA vapes, legal shrooms, glass and water pipes, wraps, incense, torches and lighters, butane, novelties, accessories, and more. 3 or 4 employees were outside the building during the apparent raid. They were approached by a Springfield Daily Citizen reporter and declined comment. Anthony Haggard, 43, was riding by on his bicycle when he stopped to ask what was going on. He said he had twice purchased shrooms at the store. He had purchased mushroom gummies and mushroom capsules previously. He pointed to signs outside the business advertising mushroom products. One sign said, "Love proud, trip loud, stay wicked." "I'm surprised," he said, "very surprised. I thought all this stuff was legal. I don't see them selling cocaine or crack or anything like that. I don't see them doing anything illegal. I hope they're not doing anything illegal." On April 13th, the store had a back room with 17 torch gaming machines operating. A Springfield Daily Citizen reporter visited the store in April for a story on Torch Electronics slot machine style games. Torch had asked companies with the games to turn them off by April 10th. The machines are also known as video lottery terminals. The city of Springfield and the state consider the machines a form of illegal gambling. On April 13th, according to a Springfield Daily Citizen news story, there were still 17 torch machines up and running in the back room. Caprice Shaley, the manager, was contacted for that April story. He said he would talk to a reporter only if the story included the multiple challenges his business faces, including a federal ban on THCA. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. A cannabinoid found in raw, unheated cannabis and hemp plants. The reporter declined. A Daily Citizen reporter and a Daily Citizen photographer did not see gaming machines being removed on June 2nd. The Daily Citizen today reached out to Shaley but did not hear back by the time this story was published. The story will be updated if more information becomes available.
Springfield Business Journal, data center moving towards Osawatomie, Kansas, posted online June 1st at 7:52 a.m. A large-scale data center is planned in Osawatomie, Kansas. The city is partnering with Lawrence, Kansas firm Alcove Development on the initiative called Project Catalyst. The project calls on a roughly 500-megawatt data center campus on a 283-acre site. More from KCTV is Osawatomie moves forward with the 500-megawatt data center campus. Pictured is a map of the area where the proposed data center is off US 169 in Miami County. Nearby is the State Mental Hospital, and then down the road is the main city of Osawatomie, Kansas. This is by Sarah Motter, published May 29th. Osawatomie, Kansas is partnering with Alcove Development on a massive data center campus officials call the largest economic development project in Miami County history. City leaders announced Friday, May 29th, that they are partnering with Lawrence-based Alcove Development on Project Catalyst. The project is expected to bring a 500-megawatt data center campus to be built on a 283-acre site within Osawatomie city limits. What's planned? City leaders noted that a preliminary fiscal impact analysis projects the following annual revenues at full build-out. City of Osawatomie, $30 million, including property tax, franchise fees, and other local revenues, potentially exceeding the city's current total annual budget many times over. Miami County, $10 million in annual property tax revenues. USD 367, the Osawatomie School District, $10 million in annual property tax revenues. Officials added that those projections reflect full development and remain significant even after applicable tax incentive structures. City Manager Brett Glending said the city's current tax base is unsustainable, with nearly 80% of property tax dollars coming from residential properties. The upside for the city of Osawatomie, Miami County, and the Osawatomie School District is significant. For far too long, Osawatomie has had an imbalance in its property tax base. Nearly 80% of our property tax dollars come from residential properties. This simply is not sustainable, stated Glending. Excuse me. The city cannot control what the county or the school district does with their mill levels if this development materializes, but I can tell you with full confidence that our mayor and city council want to see taxes reduced significantly, and I'm committed to helping them build a budget that does just that within the first budget cycle that we would start receiving these revenues. Addressing community concerns. Glenn Denning acknowledged the project is not without complications and said misinformation has circulated in the community. There has been a lot of misinformation surrounding this potential development, some exaggerated, some unequivocally untrue, and some based on understandable concerns, Glenn Denning added. What's important to remember is the fact that any negative impacts associated with this type of project can and will be controlled, if not entirely avoided, through the city's special use permit process alongside state and federal regulations. Pictured is inside of a building with several servers elongating on the left and right side and a tiled floor between them. Officials emphasize that unlike residential or retail development, a data center places minimal additional burden on police, fire, roads, traffic, or school capacity. Power and utility costs. Will residents pay more? City officials said no and point to state law as the reason. Kansas law and the Kansas Corporate Commission strictly regulate utility rates. Evergy's large road service staff is specifically designed so that major commercial and industrial customers are served entirely on their own cost basis, separate from residential and small commercial rate structures. Cross-subsidization, where large users drive up costs for everyone else, is expressly prohibited under Kansas law. Officials added that large, predictable, around-the-clock power loads can help spread existing infrastructure costs across more customers, working in favor of residential taxpayers. All new transmission infrastructure, substation upgrades, and any generation capacity required to serve the campus will be funded entirely by the project, according to authorities. Water use. City leaders indicated that the project will use a fully air-cooled data center design, made possible by the latest advances in high-density cooling technology. Officials noted that earlier generations of data centers relied on evaporative cooling, consuming large amounts of water through cooling towers. However, the city said Project Catalyst's water demands will be a fraction of conventional designs. Pictured is another room full of servers. Beyond the initial file of the closed-loop system, leaders added that day-to-day water use will largely be limited to restrooms and hand washing, comparable to a standard office building. What they're saying. Project Catalyst has the potential to reshape the economic future of this community for generations to come. We're not just building a facility here, we're investing in the future of Osawatomie, said G.W. Weld, principal at Alcove Development. We are committed to doing this right as responsible partners, good neighbors, and long-term stewards of this community. The city of Osawatomie is excited about the opportunity this project presents for our community, said Nick Campson, mayor of Osawatomie. We look forward to working with Alcove to ensure this development moves forward in a responsible way that benefits our residents and strengthens our city for the long term. What's next? City leaders said Alcove Development is working with city leaders on the entitlement and development framework needed to advance the project. Community engagement opportunities will be announced and the project progresses, officials promised. The city noted that the development team is committed to open dialogue with Osawatomie residents and welcomes questions and conversation.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Craig Wood wants U.S. Supreme Court to consider his appeal. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh granted a request from Wood's attorney for an extension of time to file a petition by Jackie Rewald. And there's a picture of 10-year-old Haley Owens. She has dark brown hair, dark eyes, and a smile on her face. She was kidnapped and murdered in 2014. The Springfield man sitting on death row for the 2014 kidnapping, rape, and murder of 10-year-old Haley Owens wants the U.S. Supreme Court to consider his appeal. Craig Wood, 58, was sentenced to death in 2018 by now retired Greene County Judge Thomas Mountjoy. Wood is an inmate at the Potosi Correctional Center. Wood appealed the denial of his 2019 post-conviction motion to have his death sentence vacated, but the Missouri Supreme Court affirmed Mountjoy's sentence on January 13, 2026. Online court records show Wood's appellate attorney filed an application for an extension of time to file a petition for a writ of certiorari, which would order the lower court, the Missouri Supreme Court, to deliver its record in a case so that the higher court, the U.S. Supreme Court, may review it. There's an aerial picture of the Potosi Correctional Center outside the village of Mineral Point in Washington County, Missouri. There's photos of Craig Wood. He has gray hair and a beard. A clerk for the U.S. Supreme Court responded with a letter received on May 19th stating that Justice Brett Kavanaugh granted the request for an extension to June 24th, 2026. Wood, who was a stranger to Owens, abducted the Westport Elementary fourth grader off the 3200 block of West Lombard Street on February 14, 2014, and drove her to his home. There, prosecutors say he raped her and then shot her in the back of the head. Wood claims prosecutorial misconduct. Wood's attempts to appeal his death sentence brought two constitutional claims, including prosecutorial misconduct and ineffective assistance of counsel regarding his defense attorneys at trial. The Missouri Supreme Court rejected Wood's claim that Greene County prosecutor Dan Patterson's penalty phase closing arguments constituted prosecutorial misconduct when Patterson argued that Haley's family wanted Wood sentenced to death. Wood's public defender, William Swift, made oral arguments on November 5, 2025, to the Missouri Supreme Court. He used most of that time to talk about statements Greene County prosecuting attorney Dan Patterson made to the jury during the penalty phase of Wood's trial. With your verdict sentencing him to the ultimate punishment, you speak for Haley, the Greene County prosecutor said, followed by an objection from Wood's defense attorney. You speak for her family. There's a picture of a large crowd of people with candles. It says an estimated 10,000 people gathered on Commercial Street in 2014 to remember Haley Owens. Photo from City of Springfield's Facebook. Swift argued that Patterson worked to keep out evidence that Haley's mother, Stacy Barfield, wanted Wood to be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Swift said Patterson was telling the jury, over the defense attorney's objections, that by imposing a death sentence, the jury would be speaking for Haley and her family's wishes. As Swift made this argument, Justice Zell Fisher interrupted. That wasn't what the argument was, though, Fisher said. He didn't say that her mother wanted death. I mean, this was an argument that was brought up in the direct appeal, and it seems to me that this court's opinion in the direct appeal is somewhat similar to the trial court's judgment, that this argument was a send the message type argument, not the family did or didn't want death as a punishment. In the January 13th decision, the Missouri Supreme Court wrote in part, Wood's claim is premised on his assertion that the prosecutor knowingly made false representations that Haley's family wanted Wood sentenced to death. This court rejected the factual premise of this argument on direct appeal by holding the state did not argue any of Haley's family members wanted the death penalty, and this was a permissible send-a-message argument. The motion court did not clearly err by denying Wood's claim of prosecutorial misconduct. Ongoing battle to avoid the death penalty. The Missouri Supreme Court affirmed Wood's conviction and death sentence in July 2019. In November 2019, Wood filed a motion pro se without an attorney, asking the court to vacate, set aside, or correct the judgment of his conviction. This document was 6 pages long. Then on March 26, 2020, and with the assistance of an attorney, Wood filed a 231-page amended motion that contained 22 claims. Mountjoy returned to the bench in March 2024 to oversee a 3-day hearing at which Wood's legal team asked the court to vacate, set aside, or correct the judgment of his conviction and death sentence. After more than 3 months of deliberation, Mountjoy denied Wood's motion. Requests for comment from William Swift, the assistant public defender representing Wood in this latest appeal, and Greene County prosecutor Dan Patterson were not returned.
And this is from the Springfield News-Leader. For our last article of the day, we have new company aims to help Springfield seniors fight loneliness. This is by Susan Such, June 2nd, 2026 at 3:55 a.m. A Springfield woman started a company to provide virtual companionship for seniors. The company, 417 Virtual Companions, offers phone calls, video calls, and messages to combat loneliness. Social isolation in older adults is a growing concern linked to serious health risks. Dorothy Coates' 63rd birthday was a milestone for her. She was now as old as her dad was when he died. It got the Springfield woman thinking more about mortality and aging, topics that had been on her mind as she watched her own mother and friends' parents aging. Even though nurses come in, they mostly did the medical stuff and didn't provide much companionship. I would see elderly folks sitting there. My mother sat there for a while by herself alone. It was horrible to see and not be able to do anything, said Coate, whose mother lived in Louisiana. Now she's trying to help the Springfield area address the social aspect of aging at home with her company 417 Virtual Companions. Through phone calls, video calls, text messages, or voice messages, Coate herself is offering engagement and social connection to seniors. At its core, what many seniors crave is the simple gift of companionship, a listening ear and a face they can count on seeing regularly, Coate said in a news release announcing the company. This service is about presence, connection, and dignity through conversation. Company offers check-ins and regular conversations. There are different call options available depending on individual needs, Coate said, and the ability to add on extra messages. Services are scheduled in advance so people can know when to expect a call. During calls, Coate will provide encouragement and support, talk with folks about their interests, and initiate conversations about their lives and what may be bothering them. The conversations are private, respectful, and judgment-free. For a 20 to 30-minute call once a week, Coate charges $20 per week. For twice weekly 20 to 30-minute calls, the price is $35 per week and $50 per week for 3 check-ins. Clients can also choose to add on text or voice note support starting at $10 per week. The company is currently only accepting private pay, Coate said. Coate is currently the only employee, but she plans to bring her daughter on once 417 Virtual Companions gets up and running. Those interested in setting something up or looking for more information can email Coate at dorothycoate@417virtualcompanions.com or call or message her at 417-368-7912. Why is loneliness an issue? A 2022 national poll on health aging indicated that 88% of people between ages 50 and 80 want to age in place or stay in their home for as long as possible. While being in their own home can give people a sense of stability and comfort, it can also be harder to maintain social connection. As people age, social isolation, a lack of connection to friends, family, or community can increase due to loss of loved ones, decreased mobility, worsening vision and hearing, chronic illness, and a lack of access to transportation, according to patient information page from the Journal of American Medicine. A 2023 poll reported that about 37% of U.S. adults ages 50 to 80 experience loneliness, and 34% reported feeling socially isolated. Improved social connection is associated with increased longevity and better social and emotional physical well-being, the article said. In 2023, the then U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek K. Murthy highlighted the loneliness epidemic. Despite living in a time where it's easier than ever to connect with others thanks to the internet, scientific literature indicated that about 1 in 2 American adults reported being lonely. Loneliness is far more than just a bad feeling. It harms both individual and societal health. It is associated with a greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, and premature death, Murthy wrote. The mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to that caused by smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, and even greater than that associated with obesity and physical inactivity.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Poking around, say, can you see, is flagpole still standing in front yard of Nixon man who battled HOA? State Senator Mike Moon entered the fray and wrote a letter of support for the homeowner, by Steve Pokin. There's a picture of a gray and brick home with a flagpole in the front yard with an American flag and flowers planted around it. It looks like the flag and the flagpole still stand in the front yard of the Nixa home of Michael Durbin, photo by Steve Pokin. It was 1 year ago that Michael Durbin of Nixa was battling his Forest Heights Homeowners Association over the flagpole he placed in his front yard. He had achieved his goal of erecting the pole before his 18-year-old son went off to boot camp June 1st, 2025. But the Homeowners Association, managed by Maples Properties because the development is not yet built out, had a problem with Durbin's flagpole. It told Durbin he had to first apply to the property management company, which would consider the application. Durbin knew all this, but already concluded it was a right and not a privilege to put a flagpole in his front yard. He even quoted the federal freedom to display the American ag flag. Good grief, I can't talk. Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005. In summary, according to Congress.gov, the act says, a condominium association, cooperative association, or residential real estate management association may not adapt or enforce any policy or enter into any agreement that would restrict or prevent an association member from displaying the U.S. flag on residential property within the association with respect to which such member has a separate ownership interest or a right to exclusive possession or use. Durbin filled out the application but crossed out the word application and replaced it with homeowner's declaration. He provided all the information sought but declared the flagpole's existence instead of applying for its approval. He told the Homeowners Association its architecture committee could keep the paperwork for record keeping. The association fined him $100. That's where we left this drama a year ago. The pole is up along with 2 flags, Old Glory and Durbin's own defund the HOA flag. I know, a real cliffhanger. It's kind of a standoff, he says. What's happened since? Well, nothing. It's kind of a standoff, says Durbin, 46, a former Nixa City councilman, serving from 2008 to 2010. When I drove to his home on Thursday, May 28th, the flagpole was up with the American flag flying. The defund the HOA flag was gone only because it had been battered by the wind. It was a cheap Amazon thing, he says. He still has a $100 fine pending. No late fees have been added. I'm just not going to pay, he says. His son is still in the Army. He's a nurse in San Antonio. Durbin has not heard a word from Maples Properties. State Senator offers a letter of support, but there was one action taken. State Senator Mike Moon entered the fray. Moon is a Republican from Ash Grove. Durbin lives in his district. Moon apparently saw media coverage of Durbin's flagpole fight and wrote a letter to the Homeowners Association in support of Durbin. Moon sent Durbin a copy. Durbin figures the letter helped his cause. In my view, I tell him, I wouldn't call this a standoff. It looks to me like you won. He would neither confirm nor deny. This is Poking Around column number 358.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store with me and Brandy. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier waves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.